well.
Okay. Well, thank you. Okay. Okay.
Hi, Gary.
If it's not pulled, it's not.
Okay. You ready to go, guys? Okay. Hello. Am I on now? Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me? A little bit? How about the back row? Yes? Head shaking in the back row. Okay, good. Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. Welcome to our meeting tonight. Actually, it's so nice to have it be daylight now instead of dark, isn't it? It's late. We're going to have a roll call by our city clerk, Marcy Killian.
The record will reflect that all members are present.
The next thing on our agenda is our Pledge of Allegiance and Invocation, and it's Grace Reasoner, the board member of the Vista Buddhist Temple. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Please remain standing.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, and citizens of Vista, good evening, and thank you for inviting the Vista Buddhist Temple to give tonight's invocation. I am honored to represent our temple this evening. Let us take a moment to express our gratitude to the members of the council. They have great responsibilities for the care and well-being for Vista and for all of her residents. And for their commitment and efforts, we are truly grateful. Also, let us request that the power that resides in the heavens and within each one of us continue to bring light, wisdom, and compassion to these members in the performance of their duties tonight and in the future. To the council members, as the representatives of the City of Vista, may you carry out your duties with pure hearts, clear minds, and firm resolve to elevate the quality of life for all Vista's inhabitants. May your deliberations and decisions be guided by your best intentions, by your commitment to high ethics in all that you do. Through your efforts tonight, may the vision emerge to navigate this wonderful city through the challenges it faces now and in the future. May you work and stand in harmony as you strive to fulfill your obligation to our community and build a better Vista that will contribute to a better world. Thank you.
Thank you. The next thing on our agenda is the Brown Act Notice of Simultaneous Meeting Compensation. In accordance with the Brown Act, I'd like to announce that as a result of convening simultaneous meetings, the members of the Buena Sanitation District will receive compensation of $147.75 for the district meeting pursuant to the Buena Sanitation District Ordinance 2006-1s. The next thing on our agenda is the approval of the agenda by City Manager Patrick Johnson.
Mayor, there are no changes to the agenda.
And there's no closed session held today, so we're going to move on to our presentations. And we have one proclamation today declaring Thursday, June 28th, as Ronald McDonald House Charities Day in the City of Vista. Ramona Carajo, I hope I didn't murder that name, will receive the proclamation. Is she here today? I'm going to read the proclamation here. So she's our City of Vista representative, and she's representing the McDonald House Charities. So the whereas is, Ronald McDonald House Charities, San Diego, is hosting the 3rd annual Red Shoe Day event on Thursday, June 28th from 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. with sponsorships from Wells Fargo, the Kiwanis Club of San Diego, Young Professionals, Gomez Law Firm, and KFMB. And whereas Red Shoe Day raises awareness and much-needed funds to Ronald McDonald House Charities of San Diego, which provides a home away from home for families with children being treated for serious, often life-threatening conditions at local hospitals. Ronald McDonald House Charities San Diego seeks 1,000 volunteers to be positioned at key San Diego intersections, collecting donations from commuters and passersby in their iconic size 14 red shoes. Last year, San Diego County communities raised more than $98,000 to benefit San Diego's Ronald McDonald House. Now, therefore, the mayor and members of the Vista City Council do hereby encourage Vista residents to register to volunteer for this worthwhile event by going to www.rmhcsd.org/Red Shoe Day. And now, therefore, the mayor and members of the Vista City Council do hereby proclaim Thursday, June 28, 2012, as Ronald McDonald House Charities Day in the city of Vista. So congratulations. And maybe you want to say a word? You want to say something? No, she wants to say anything. Okay. Okay. So congratulations, and hopefully some people will volunteer here at this announcement and volunteer for your day. So thank you. Thank you. Okay, the next thing on our agenda is our consent calendar, and there are items C1 through C17 tonight. Do I have any items pulled by the council?
Mayor, I'd like to remove
I think
C7
you're-
and
I think you're
C9.
on. Are you on? No. Okay, there you go. Okay.
C7 and C9, Mayor.
C7 and C9. Okay. Anybody else? No one else? Do I have any? I have C9, which I already have. Any here? Okay, so C9 has been pulled already.
15 and 17.
Okay, items C15 and C17. Just a minute, let me write that down. 15 and 17. Okay. Okay, so then I would entertain a motion for the balance of the consent calendar. Oh, Councilman Aguilera, did you have something?
I was just going to make a motion.
Okay, the balance of the consent calendar?
He was requesting to know which ones are pulled.
Oh, the ones that are pulled? I have C9,
C7,
C7, C9,
15, and
C15, and 17. 15 and 17. Uh-huh. Okay. So I have a
I'll
motion for the
make a
balance
motion
by
for the balance of the
Councilman
consent
Aguilera,
calendar.
second by Gronke. Okay. Please cast your votes. That motion passes unanimously. So we're going to go to, the next thing, we'll go to items C7, which is the Central Business Improvement District, CVVID. So do you want to report on that, Councilman Gronke?
Just a brief report, please.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. I'm Kevin Ham. I'm the Director of Economic Development for the city. And with me is Rachel Bell. She's a management analyst in the department, and she'll be giving the presentation.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. In January 2012, the city received the Central Vista Business Improvement District, CVBID Advisory Board's annual report, which proposed no boundary, zone, or assessment modifications for the upcoming 2012-13 fiscal year. On March 27th, the City Council confirmed the annual report and levied the assessment for the 2012-13 fiscal year. In order to disperse funds collected by the city directly to the VVBA, Vista Village Business Association, for the implementation of the CVBID, an agreement for the administration of the CVBID needs to be executed between the city and the VVBA. Per the agreement, the city will provide a contribution of $40,000 at the beginning of the fiscal year, in addition to any collected CVBID assessments. Upon receipt, additional assessments will be dispersed to the VVBA quarterly, pending receipt of the required reports as outlined in the agreement. At the end of the fiscal year, the city will require an agreed-upon procedures review to be completed before final disbursement of collected assessments. During the 2011-12 fiscal year, CVBID funds were used to fund improvements and activities within the district. A summary of VVBA accomplishments is listed in Exhibit 4. Gumara Escarcega, VVBA Executive Director, is available tonight to highlight achievements from the last fiscal year and share goals for the future. This concludes my report. Kevin Ham and I are available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Gronke.
Yeah, I'd like to ask the director a couple questions.
Mr. Gamaro.
First of all, Mr. Ham, thank you for all your work on this. And I know we were a little bit rough on you in the past, just trying to get this thing in order, and I think you've really come a long way. And I guess that's why I pulled this item, because I do have the report in front of me, had an opportunity to look at that. And I just would like to ask you a couple questions about the procedures and how your timelines are coming.
Yes.
So I'm looking at on it, it's a detailed, and it's a work plan. There's work plans broken down into different components. This is work plan 1, and it talks about business recruitment. And I know you have a number of businesses already within the bid. Are you still recruiting, and how are you accomplishing that?
Well, the Economic Restructuring Committee created a brochure to help guide new businesses coming in, so we can distribute those brochures to new people interested in coming in and doing business in Vista. So we have also reached out to a few businesses around our surrounding communities to come and do business in our community, which is downtown Vista, on the parameters of downtown Vista.
So you're mostly focusing just on the downtown area rather
Yes.
than the larger city?
Oh, yeah.
Which kind of the chamber has responsibility for.
That's correct.
How about the Shop Vista campaign? What are you doing in regard to that?
Well, end of the year in December, the Vista Chamber of Commerce, the VUBA, and the City of Vista kind of partnered together to create a Shop Vista campaign where we raffle out items every week based on receipts collected on a daily basis. The receipts need to match over $100, and they need to be sales tax. And so we gather all the tickets, and then we raffle out an item every year. Last year, we purchased a flat screen TV, and it was raffled out one of the weeks that we had the Shop Vista campaign going.
Okay. I'm really pleased with what I'm reading here. I did notice on item number 4, goal number 4, it had something to do with music downtown. I didn't see much going on there. Is there something going to happen?
Yeah, we're planning for next following year, which is in July. We're trying to do a series of concerts in downtown. We're trying to replicate what Adams Avenue does. They just currently did a Plug-In, I believe it was called. They did a series of concerts throughout the stretch of Adams Avenue in San Diego. And I want to bring that concept to downtown Vista, where we utilize mostly all of Main Street and possibly set other streets in the area so we can create music entertainment so people can walk around and see our businesses.
Now, I understand that there was some recent improvement of lighting down there. Would that help with that?
Well, it's during the summer, so it shouldn't be any issue with lighting during that time frame.
Okay. So
But
that's
the
still,
lighting has to help improve the parking structure.
but it's still an ongoing problem.
Of course, there's not enough lighting ever, so it's like
Okay.
parking.
Well, you know, with the addition of the new brewery in downtown, I think that's going to be a real helpful thing for bringing people down there and bringing some people down at nighttime. You know,
Oh, I
to
agree.
make it more vibrant.
There's a lot of buzz going on right now with that.
Yeah. Well, you know, and finally, I was looking over your statement at the end. It talks about your income and expenses and so forth, and I noticed that you're in the black. So, will there come the day when you won't be relying on the city to?
We hope so.
Okay.
We hope so.
No, anyway, I just want to say you've come a long way. I think you're doing a great job. Certainly, the Strawberry Festival was an indication of, you were working with the chamber, of course, on that, but an indication of what you're able to do for the city. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And with that, I'd like to make a recommendation for this item.
Okay, motion.
Motion.
I have a second. Wait, okay, we have a couple speakers here. I had Councilmember Lopez, followed by Councilmember Aguilera.
Thank you, Mayor. When you get together with the Chamber of Commerce and the Shop Vista, try and use local business in the bid area first, then from there you go out, because they are paying a fee, and they would appreciate it if they would get business from our local organizations before we go out. I'd also like to thank Rachel for the hard work, and Mr. Ham, but Rachel's there at those meetings and is there to answer a lot of questions for the board. I hear a lot of it, and you know where I hear it from. And so, but I also would like to thank the whole board for the good work that they're doing. The VBBA a year ago, I'm not sure if the council trusted them, but they proved this council wrong, that they can do it. If you've gone to the events that they have grown tremendously, and I think they will. And I'm hoping that by next year that they won't need our assistance the way they're going. And doing a great job, and the president and the whole board. Thank you.
Councilmember Aguilera.
Yeah, I'd just like to add that I know the VVBA was under fire about a year ago, and I think they certainly have risen to the occasion and have been very successful. And I've attended many of their functions. Strawberry Festival was very, very successful, and I'd like to see more of that. So congratulations on a successful year, and we'd like to see that improvement continue. Thank you.
I'll just put my 2 cents in, and I'd also like to congratulate you that I think the Strawberry Festival was the most people I've ever seen downtown in my life, and I've been here for a long time, so it was very successful, and as all your events have been. I've been to a lot of them too, and you're doing a great job, so I appreciate that you're doing that and taking care of your downtown down there. So I have a motion and a second, so I think we're ready to cast votes. That motion passes unanimously. The next issue that was pulled was C9. It's the agreements with the VCMA, VCEA, and VFFA, and Management and Confidential Employee Compensation Plan amendments. So Councilmember Gronke pulled it, and then I also have a speaker.
I don't need a staff report on this.
No report?
No report necessary.
Okay. You want to hear the speakers then? The speaker? Sure. Yes, everybody? Okay, Cliff Kaiser. I thought you didn't want to hear the report. Okay. Did you want to speak first? Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I would like to just express a few words about concern over this amended contract with these various employee organizations. Not that you could do that much. I don't know the details of how these contracts are written, and I know it's coming due for formal review next year. But there are provisions in this amendment that appear to say that the city will pick up the tab of 75% of any increase in group health insurance benefits. And I looked at each of these amendment pages here, and they all kind of say the same thing: 75% increase in group insurance premiums for this year that this covers, and the employee will cover 25% of the increase. And with health insurance raising everywhere, I would imagine that this group health insurance is going to raise as well. And as I've come before this council before and expressed concern about using fiscal constraint and capital purchases, I express the same thing here. The city and the economy is in no condition to be giving anybody a raise, and there ought to be across the board cut in salaries for yourselves. And
there actually was. We actually all accepted a 5% cut in our salaries.
Yeah, but we've also accepted a significant reduction in services as well. So it's not necessarily a wash that we've got 5% reduction in salaries while we're still taking a reduction in the services that the city provides. The California Citizens Compensation Commission ordered an across-the-board 5% salary cut, as well as going into effect in December. So it's not unheard of that municipalities are cutting expenses, especially salaries. One of the things that you have been able to do is pull out of reserves to keep the operating budget going. But one of the things that's going to be very difficult to recover is the reserve that's coming out of the hide of the citizens of Vista and the businesses of Vista because of the services that are not getting provided right now. And I think that's being paid for on the backs of the citizens because of these inflated salaries and compensation packages. Thank you.
Would you like me to respond?
Yeah, would you like to respond?
Just quickly, regarding the group insurance for VCEA, VCMA, and for management and confidential employees, this is the same 75-25% split that is currently in the MOUs. So there's no change from the existing MOUs. The city employees, as well as the city council, everybody but the safety members, are taking a 5% pay cut for the next fiscal year. We're the only city in North County that's doing that for next fiscal year. And so the employees are receiving 5% pay cut. And in terms of reduction in services, I'm not sure what Mr. Kaiser is referring to, other than we continue to provide a high level of service to the community.
Thank you. And Councilmember Gronke?
Yeah, I just have to echo what you just heard from the city manager. It's my experience with the staff here that they are doing more with less every day. I've been on this council for 12 years, and I know for a fact that we've let go many people over the course of those years. And it's due to the economy, and the economy's hurt us badly. And our states, cities depend a lot on sales tax and property tax, and those have diminished greatly. And so I guess my point in pulling this is just to thank the staff again for the sacrifices they're making. Yeah, I have to agree with Mr. Kaiser that medical costs are skyrocketing, and it's unfortunate. But I think our plan allows for participation from our employees when it comes to trying to control those and contain those costs. So, again, thank you, staff, and thanks for. I know you're losing some of your peers in the booth next year, and that means more paperwork for you. But thank you for everything you've done, the sacrifice you made. I really appreciate it personally.
Anyone else? If no one else, Councilmember Lopez.
Thank you. I too agree with Mr. Gronke and the manager on some of these items that our staff has gone through. We have cut. We've made them work, double work sometimes there. So they understand that these are difficult times, and they're willing to, not only last year, but this year too. So, they've taken a cut. So, and I hate cutting wages, but that's the way it is. But thank you very much, staff. You're all up there looking down here. You work very hard for to make our job easy, so that when we're up here, you have all this paperwork, and it makes it easy for us. Thank you.
And not only have they taken everyone taken the pay cut, but they also have taken on more work because we've laid off so many people. So I would look for a motion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion on this item.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Please cast your votes. That motion passes unanimously. The next item that was pulled was the C-15, the lease agreement with North County Lifeline, and I have one speaker that pulled that. So do you want to hear from the speaker first?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well,
I mean, that's my
and he knows who it is. Paul Eckert.
Try to save a little time here. My name's Paul Eckert, and I live at 725 Altadista Drive, Vista. Mayor and members of the City Council. The thing that I want to talk to is just the railroad station. And I have no problem with the lease. I don't even know anything about the lease. But when we moved off of the Wildwood property, we had a lease there with the city of Vista, and the city wanted to build a fire department, and we wanted for a fire station. We wanted something for our lease. So I met with then city manager Rita and the mayor, and I was hopeful the mayor would stay here so he could substantiate what we talked about, but I guess he's left. But anyway, our number one choice to move was the train station, and we wanted a train station, and we were prepared to take it there where the chamber was if we could get it there, but that wasn't to be. And so we talked about it, and we wanted to, and we had put in the plans a long time ago to preserve the Rancho Minerva house. Well, we agreed, and the city agreed, and they did some of the handicap requirements at the Minerva house, and we moved out there. We moved everything out there, but that didn't mean that we still didn't want the train station. We were still hoping for the train station, and I'm prepared to do that with private money, not use any of the city's money to take and move the train station into some location. I would hopefully hope that I could work through this, whatever happens out of this redevelopment, to maybe get a piece of property out of that, or even we could put it in the linear park that's being planned on South Santa Fe, because it'd be a great addition to the park. It's a real jewel, and we could make it part of the park, part of the adventure of going down there. But anyway, what I'm asking is that the city maybe looks at the potential of us using it now to see if there's a way. The Lifeline is across the street on the corner there. They've got offices in there. They would have to keep those offices, and then that could free up the train station to be moved. If we can do that without too much problems, I'd like to do that. But if we don't do that, if we lease them the train station, it should be absolutely 5 years. I'm not getting any younger, you know. And 5 years is going to be all right in the sense of the word that I could maybe lay low for a year or two, and then I could start my fundraising. And always be looking for a location. There's all things I could be doing to get ready for it. So, but if
I need you to wrap up.
yeah, sure. If you could look at it in the sense of the word, if you could prove it conditionally after discussion with Lifeline. I have been trying to talk to them, and they won't talk to me, so they know what I want. But anyway,
Okay.
if we can't do that, then make absolutely certain it's 5 years is it.
Thanks, Paul.
Mhm.
Thank you. I have a couple council members that want to speak. Councilmember Lopez.
Thank you. You're right, Mr. Eckert. I think that needs to be moved. I believe we have a 5-year lease with them, and I would actually like to see it less time, but I'm only one vote. I believe that should be moved downtown. That way, where it's at, it's just not the right spot. There's also a caboose here in town that when you do move it down, maybe it can be put alongside of it downtown. But I know that when you put your mind to it, Mr. Eckert, that you will move that building and you will get people to help you. Folks like you and your friends will do it, and we appreciate you being in this community. Thank you, Mr. Eckert.
Mayor Pro Tem Gronke.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, I agree with you that it is a kind of a vision of what we did, of the past of Vista, and really needs to be saved. Talking about visions, I don't know if it really has a place in the Paseo Santa Fe location, because that's kind of a whole different idea down there. But it will be saved, and I think it will be moved. And I don't know if it's going to be moved that soon. So you're just going to have to hang in there, Paul. And I think we'll get it moved to a good location that'll be appropriate for what it stands for, the history of Vista.
I actually agree. I'd like to see it move down along the rail line because that's where it came from. And so I agree with you. But I think we need to, maybe we could lease it for the 5 years, and then maybe we can during that time, look at it and let's find a place for it. Because Vista, we have so little history that is saved, and I believe we should save what we can. And so I'm all about saving that train stations and moving it down back where it belongs along the rail line. So anyway, Councilmember Coles.
Yeah. You know, my dad worked for Santa Fe Railroad in Victorville many years ago, and I spent a lot of hours in the late evening in that depot. And so there's I have a flavor and a feeling for old-fashioned train depots. And when I came to Vista, I was enthused and excited when I would go to meetings there because it just had a good feeling, a good look and a good feeling. However, I do want to incorporate it into a location that blends with what it brings to our community. I don't want it to look misplaced, but I would like us to spend this time while Mr. Eckert is able to raise some money to help us get it moved so that we can really plan a design around it so that it really enhances that whatever part of the city we're able to place it in. And so I think the 5-year lease gives us time for planning and for fundraising, and it provides the city with some revenue that we can count on. So thank you, Paul, for your comments and support.
Maybe it can be one of our goals. So with that, I look for a motion to approve this or disapprove it.
I move to approve.
Okay. I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay. Please cast your votes. Motion passes unanimously, and let's plan, okay? We'll make that one of our goals to plan that. Okay, so the next thing on our agenda is C17, which is our 2012-2013 operating budget, which we actually went through piece by piece the last time we were here, at our last meeting. So we just have, do you need a report or do you want, no. So we have one speaker, and that'd be Chuck Rabel.
Good evening, Council, Ms. Mayor. Don't have a whole lot to say. You obviously don't have a lot of options. One of the things I would like to see, though, is a deferred maintenance schedule with dollars, because the streets need a lot of work, and they're not going to get done very well with this current budget. But you need to have a plan. Other cities have deferred maintenance schedules, and the only other thing I'd like to
Are you
mention...
talking about streets when you say deferred maintenance schedule on the streets? Is that what you're asking for?
Sure.
I think we have one.
We do. We have a pavement management plan that is currently in the process of being updated and should be updated by the fall of this year.
By the fall, and then it'll be public.
That's correct.
Okay. The only other thing I question just a bit, item C4 was the adoption of the fiscal year 2013 appropriation limit prepared by Dale Nelson, the finance manager treasurer. My question is, the last two meetings, this one being the second, these ladies have represented the budget. Just seems kind of odd. We've got this finance manager and treasurer, and he's not up here. Just a question. With that, I'll let you move on with your agenda. Thank you.
For the council's clarification, the budget is prepared within the city manager's office, and that's why Ms. Jeanette Ferris and Laura Johnson are here. And Dale oversees finance and does take part in the budget, but the budget is prepared by the city manager's office, so that's why you see them on the agenda report.
I make a motion to approve the item.
I motioned, I motioned a second, and I also have Councilmember Lopez wanted to say something.
Thank you. I don't have a problem with the budget we're doing here, but I do have a problem with, in our budget, we never planned for that skateboard park. We never planned for the barn that we were going to build 8-10 years ago. Tonight we voted on a lease for Lifeline. I hope that thing, what Mr. Eckert brought in front of us, will eventually happen before we're gone. So it's important. My number one priority right now is with what's going on is that we do something for our youth, and that's that skateboard park. And I hope that I speak about it a lot up here, that maybe one of these days that one of you will sit down and talk to me, and let's see what we can do about it. Thank you.
I think when we had our meeting and set our goals, our number one priority was public safety, and it wasn't the skateboard park wasn't our number one goal. So, did you want to say something? You passed. Oh, Councilmember Aguilera.
Well, I was just going to repeat what you said, that one of our goals was to actually do the budget and
balance it.
Balance the budget. And I'm actually glad to see that Ms. Johnson and Ms. Ferris are here, and that Mr. Nielsen is able to delegate that responsibility. And we have two other capable individuals that can present this information. And I thank you for that. So, thank you.
So I have a motion and a second. So I think we're ready to cash our ballots. Cast your ballots. That motion passes unanimously. Thank you. So now the next thing we were going to do is our discussion items. And the first one is D1, and it's regarding our general municipal election. So would you like?
Take a brief presentation.
Yeah, would you like a brief presentation on item D1? Yes. Please.
Just to give you an overview of the item, the recommendation is to call and give notice that an election will be held on November 6th, and Vista will be participating in the county and statewide election. And what's more important on this is we need you to instruct staff on what to do in the event of a tie vote. In 2006, the City Council elected to hold a runoff election in the event of a tie vote, and as a result, all future elections need to be resolved by a runoff unless the Council wants to repeal or rescind the resolution that was passed in 2006. So the three choices that staff is presenting in front of you are to either make no changes in the policy, which would allow for a runoff election at an estimated cost of up to $400,000, or to provide for an all-mail ballot runoff election at an estimated cost of $120,000. And lastly, you could rescind the current policy and provide that a tie vote be determined by lot, which would mean that the Board of Supervisors would determine the fate typically by a toss of the coin. So those are the three choices in front of you as presented.
Mayor Pro Tem Grunke.
It's been my experience, in the recent elections that elections by ballot by the mail have become much more commonplace. Do you have any statistics on what that might be like in Vista? Is it a third or?
I don't have any statistics for
we
Vista.
have nothing on that.
Yeah.
Okay. I, for one, believe that a number of people that vote by mail probably would be sufficient. I think it'd be reflective. Again, I'm going back to my experience in some of the elections I've been through. That representative of the statistics that we've seen from people voting at the ballot booth. So I don't think there's a necessary for our city to go through the cost of going to a larger election than just a mail election. I think we're saving ourselves almost $300,000 by not going to that direction. So
Okay, I do have one speaker before I take reject. Chuck Rabel.
Sure hope I have the right, I'm on D2, you're on D1.
We're on D1. It's on here, it says D1.
I screwed up and signed up for the wrong one. I've got comments for D2.
Okay, well, then let's just save it for D2.
Okay.
I changed it for you. Okay. So then, Councilmember Aguilera.
Yeah, I just think that, we definitely want to be frugal. However, I think it's important that voters in Vista can voice their opinion and do a ballot, and I think the mail-in ballot is a good option. It saves us some money, but it still gives the people a voice. And the idea of flipping a coin just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't think that's fair to the candidates, and I don't think it's fair, most importantly, to the citizens of Vista. I think a mail-in ballot would be a responsible option.
Councilmember Coles.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think we need to run a nearly $500,000 re-election program, but we should have input, because when you have as many as 10 or 11 candidates running and it comes down to two of those, you don't know where the unsuccessful voters might cast their ballot. So I think we need to have some input, and the mail-in ballot, as Councilmember Gronke said, has become much more common, and I think is reflective of our citizenry. So I would pursue that as an option.
Councilmember Lopez.
I agree with them too. Just to have another election would be not the right thing.
Marilyn, you agree?
Yeah, I'm flipping the coin.
Okay, somebody
Let the
make a
people
motion
speak.
then. We're
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
I make a motion to go to the mail-in, what did we call it?
Mail ballot.
Mail-in ballot?
Yeah.
Okay. And I got a motion and a second. Okay. Please cast your votes.
Is that okay, Chuck? You okay with that?
Chuck's on the next one. Okay, that motion passes unanimously.
So staff will bring back the proper resolution and approval on the 26th for you.
Okay, the next one is D2. The next discussion item is a candidate statement of regulations for November 2012 election. And so do you want to do a quick report on that? And then we have one speaker, which is Chuck Rabel.
Yeah, the recommendation before you is for the council to establish the maximum number of words, either 200 or 400, to be permitted in a candidate's statement of qualifications in the voter information pamphlet, and for you also to adopt the regulations for candidate statements. The City Council has consistently in the past chosen 400 words for the voter pamphlet, and so we just need a decision from you on whether it's 200 or 400 words.
Anybody? Oh, well, let's hear from Chuck. Mr. Rabel.
Now I got the right agenda item. According to the first page of the statement on the subject, Vista is the only city in San Diego County to authorize up to 400 words. For some reason, the Registrar of Voters has estimated the November 12 election cost to be $900 for a 200-word statement and $1,200 for a 40-word statement, twice as much as the November 2010 election. Is there any explanation why things doubled in 2 years?
We don't have an explanation as to why it doubled, other than the fact that it's purely borne by the County Board of Supervisors or the county on this cost.
The county board, the Registrar of Voters had not reevaluated their billing method in probably 10 years, and that's what they told us last year when everything went up. I'm sorry, the last election, 2010. And so it has doubled, and they've added 4 languages since they had reevaluated it as well. And all of us being consolidated with the county, we must pay for the same languages as they do, even though we don't have the same representation, and they added Chinese this year.
And this is an estimate.
It's
So
only an estimate.
If it doesn't reach 1,200.
Yeah, well, when's the last time a fee went down? Come on.
I wish it
An
could.
estimate. Anyway, I would suggest that you adopt the 200 words and not shut out candidates that aren't verbose enough for 400 words, nor want to pay the haircut for 400 words. Thank you.
Councilmember Lopez.
Council, may I just make a note that I was notified this week from the Registrar of Voters that Poway is also using 400 words this year
Okay.
at their November election.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Rabel, I'm sorry, but I'm going to disagree this time with you. But I'm going to leave it at 400.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Gronke.
Well, I'm going to disagree with Mr. Lopez. I already think if you can't get your message out in 200 words, then your message is way too long. I will say this, that I think part of the reason that we're seeing such an escalation in the prices of the county's gouging those that are running for elected office. And I also want to point out to those candidates that might be within the room, this is money well spent. I've heard over and over again a number of people that voted, they saw your name on the sign, or maybe they heard of you, but when they read about what your thoughts are at that last moment before they vote sometimes, I think it's so crucial. So I'm going to go for the 200, and I'm just going to say that I think that's sufficient.
I'm going to go for the 400 because just because I think, I mean, a lot of our forums and things aren't really well attended, and so people, when they get that, that's how they find out who you are. And so I think we need to, if they want to do it in 200 words, that's fine. They can do less, but I think that gives the people enough time to explain, who they are and where they stand on their platforms. So, okay, I have Councilmember Coles, followed by Councilmember Aguilera.
Yeah, the 400 words does give you an opportunity to explain more than what you can get across in a poorly attended forum. So I am disappointed that the county is charging so much more for that. I'm disappointed that it creates a problem for candidates who really need to be able to put their best foot forward through the ballot statement. But I guess that's just the cost of campaigning. And but I do think that you need to be able to express yourself in more than 200 words on that ballot.
Councilman Aguilera.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to have a forum to reach out to every voter, and the ballot statements are going to go to every household. So the $1,200 is well spent, whereas signs don't always get seen, or they're just too expensive for some candidates. This is an opportunity for those candidates that don't have the money to get their message out and give them a platform to use to reach all voters. So I would support the 400 words.
Okay. Sounds like we're ready to cast our ballots.
Well,
No?
we gotta-
Oh, we didn't need a motion?
We're-
I need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to stick with the 400 words and leave it at the, I guess, at the $1,200 estimate that we have.
Okay. And do I have a second? Second. Okay. Cast your ballots, please. That motion passes with one nay. Moving on, the next thing on our agenda, the next item of discussion is D3, appointments to our various commissions, boards, and committees. And we do have, let's see, we have one speaker on that. So do you want to hear the speaker first? Sure. Okay. It'll be John Alisi.
Hello, Mayor, Councilman. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. This might be a little premature, but I really would like to see Mario Carrillo be on the Planning Commission, although he's, well, let me just tell you, I want you to consider him to be on the Planning Commission, and I believe that the person to be on the Planning Commission should be a person of trust, honesty, and honor. And Mario Carrillo is that person and the best choice, in my opinion. Mario stood up with me when I was president of the VVBA when others did not. Mario did not support the previous executive director when that was the easy thing to do. As you can see, he made the right decision. He and I are still on the VVBA, and those that oppose his and my effort are gone. Mario is a good leader and not an order taker. He weighs the pros and cons of difficult issues. He asks for advice from others and doesn't do what is necessarily good for his career, but what is best decision for that particular situation. This is the kind of person that should be on the Planning Commission. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Councilmember Coles?
Yes, I want to thank our Mayor Ritter and whoever she can get to sit down to go through the interviews with her with these appointments. And it's a long and it's an arduous process, and it's very deliberative and it's difficult to make choices because we have good people that apply for all of these posts, and but we have to make decisions based on the feedback we get from each of these people in that setting. And so I want to thank you for coming up with some hard choices, but I would like to move to approve your appointments to these commissions and committees.
Does that include the Planning Commission?
Planning Commission as well.
And the commissions, okay. Councilmember Aguilera?
Thank you, Mayor. I got the opportunity to sit down with you and interview many of these people, including Mr. Carrillo. And it was exciting to see all the people in our city that are willing to serve and volunteer their time. Sometimes it is a thankless job and sometimes goes unrecognized by the majority of the city. So, but at the same time, you know, we had great people that stepped up with many skills and a lot of experience. So it made our choice very difficult. And I think your choices were, I agree with them, Mayor, so I will support them.
Second it?
Yep, I'll second it.
Okay. Councilmember Lopez?
Thank you, Mayor. I agree with Mr. Alisi here on this about Mr. Carrillo. He has taken the VVBA to a different level. Last year, the one that you have picked, Mrs. Ritter, Mr. Fleming, wanted to dissolve the VVBA last year. And obviously this board has proved him wrong because it has done very well and it's growing. Also, we have certain ordinances and laws in our community when it comes to roof signs in your community. I had a roof sign on my building, and I was cited for it, and I was asked to remove it. I didn't want to remove it, but I removed it because that's the law here in this community. Mr. Fleming has had a roof sign on his, and he has been asked, there's been complaints on it, and he refuses to remove it. And if that's what you want on the Planning Commission, then vote him in. But if I just cannot agree with Mr. Fleming at this time, and I would make a motion to.
We already have a motion and a
I know
second.
you have a motion, I know, but I'm just not going to go that route this time.
Council Mayor Pro Tem Grunke.
I don't believe there's a second to that motion. I'll make
Yes,
that.
no, there is.
2 I
seconds.
think what Mr. Lopez said about dissolving the VBBA is exactly right. I think there's many of us on this council last year that had that same idea because of where it was going, and I think it's moved so well in the other direction that I think that's not going to happen, and I think we're quite proud of the direction it's going. I've been through the process several times with going through the candidates. You know, there's a rather extensive process. They put together a resume and they fill out an application and they come through the interview process. And I can only say that I have to agree with my colleagues that made those choices, that they made the best choices. And so I think I will, again, second this motion and call for the vote on it, that we agree with the mayor that these are the people we want representing our city.
Okay, so then it looks like we're ready to please cast your votes.
Well, are you doing the entire thing?
Yeah, that was a motion. Motion passes with 1 nay. The next thing on our agenda is we're going to we have several public hearings here. The first public hearing is the Regional Transportation Improvement Plan, called the RTIP. And I think Tim Shull is going to do, is that right, or John?
Thank you, Mayor. Tim Schell, who's our principal engineer in charge of capital projects, is going to give a brief presentation, and then we will be available for questions.
Okay.
There we go. Now I know how to do it.
Good evening.
Good evening. This public hearing is required by SANDAG as a condition for the City of Vista to receive Transnet funding. The RTIP, which is the Regional Transportation Improvement Program, is SANDAG's multi-year program for highways, arterial roads, transit, pedestrian, and bicycle projects. And through this, the city receives an annual allocation of Transnet funding. That's the half-cent sales tax that we all pay with the things that we buy. Our Transnet funds must be programmed in the RTIP if the city intends to use its funds for improvement projects. We have a list here of the projects that are included in the proposed RTIP listing, and it's before you here. And I wanted to point out that most of the funding that we have identified from Transnet is used in our street improvement projects, our 8155 street rehabilitation and maintenance, and 8225 street rehabilitation and resurfacing. And that's where we take care of the problems that we have with our roads. And so I want to point out to you that most of the funding that's available is used in our resurfacing and road repairs. What we have here is a 5-year projection. This is how SANDAG projects the funds that will be available to the city. And these funds come in as the taxes are paid. So these are all projections. And again, we spend most of our funding on road repairs. You see there on the list. What's new for this year in the RTIP is a SANDAG requirement for the Regional Arterial Management System, and they use the terminology RAMS. That provides a traffic management tool for the cities, the counties, and Caltrans to use in managing traffic signal timing and monitoring of traffic signal status. And all of the local agencies are required to contribute a cost share to that, and Vista's share has been calculated for the next fiscal year at $8,800. And these are the requirements for the public hearing that SANDAG requires each local agency to hold a public hearing on the proposed list of projects before any amendments or updates to the RTIP are accepted. And they also require a resolution to be approved by the City Council for each amendment or update to the RTIP. And so we'd like to recommend that council take these actions listed in the agenda report, and that includes my report, and John Connolly are available, and I are available to answer any questions.
Mayor Pro Tem Grunke.
You know, Sandag dispenses money for a lot of good reasons. One of them happens to be to alleviate traffic congestion. And I sit on the North County Transit Board, and I realize that the Sprinter's future is to be double-tracked and probably go from a 30-minute cycle to a 20-minute cycle, maybe less. Where do we stand in that cycle of getting some relief for the Sprinter's impact on our city?
Getting relief in terms of traffic improvements, you mean, or getting relief in terms of funding?
Grade separation or something along
So
that line. I
there
mean,
are a
particularly like
number-
Escondido or something.
That's probably the only real solution to the traffic issues that are created by the Sprinter. At most locations in the city, you need grade separation to address the problem. There are a number of grade separation projects included in the double tracking overall project for the Sprinter. I think there's, let's see, I believe at Main Street and Vista Village is the one that's included right now within the city of Vista, and then there's 2 undisclosed locations that we're going to have to work with Sandag somewhere along the route to do. But they have included some funding, not all of the funding that we would like, but there is, you know, a fair amount included regionally for grade separation, and Vista does get the benefit of some of that money.
Yeah, it's just, you know, you notice at the half hours how much the traffic is impacted by that cycle, and I can just imagine it getting escalated into the future. So we just need to stay on top of it, I guess, as a city, and make sure that Sandag's aware of our dilemma. Thank you.
Is that our only speaker? Anybody else? No questions anywhere? Do we need a motion for this? Let me look.
I'll move to close the public hearing and approve this request.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Please cast your votes. Motion passes unanimously. Our next public hearing is collection of delinquent weed abatement charges. So I would open the public hearing, and I think, anybody want to report? Do you want to report?
I don't need a report.
If we don't need a report, then I would ask for a motion to.
I'll make a move to close the public hearing and adopt the recommendation to collect our fees.
I have a second. Motion and a second. Okay. Please cast your votes. Thank you for walking up here. Okay.
You can do this one, John.
The next one is our public hearing number 3 is our levy of assessments for 2012-13. The last one was the weed abatement charges, in case I didn't say that. So we'll open the public hearing. Do you want anybody want to report on this one?
Nope.
No. Okay, then I would entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second. I have a motion and a second by Councilmember Lopez.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to close the public hearing.
Yes, that would be good too. Thank you. Okay, please cast your votes. Yeah.
Your turn.
Well, Dale, you can stay here for the next 3. Okay, so the next is public hearing number 4, the collection of delinquent sewer service charges. And does anybody want to report on that?
Nope.
No. So I would entertain a motion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to close the public hearing.
Who wants to second?
I second it.
Okay, second, Councilman Lopez. Please cast your votes. Oh, close the public hearing? Yes? Okay, thank you. That motion passes. Public hearing number 5, levy of delinquent mandatory trash charges for 2011 and 12.
I'll make that motion.
Any report? Do you want to report, anybody?
No,
Okay.
I'd like to
So
close
no,
the public hearing.
close public hearing and a motion. And I have a second?
Second.
And a second? Please cast your votes.
Hey, got one in there.
Dale, you're not getting to make any reports. Okay, public hearing number 6, levy of delinquent property-related administrative citation charges. Anybody want to report?
No report.
No report.
And I'll move to close the public hearing and collect our delinquent fees.
Okay. Did I open the public hearing? on that
Second.
one? Okay.
Second.
I did. It's open and closed. Okay. So please cast your votes. Motion passes unanimously. So the next thing on our agenda are our oral communications. And we have one speaker, which is Mario Carrillo.
Well, good evening, everybody. And I'm Mario Carrillo. I'm the president of Vista Village Business Association. And just want to thank the council for this past year, for all your support that you've given our organization. I know I'm talking to many of you about different subjects over the year. And we're just excited as to our calendar, remaining calendar of the year. We have Taste of Vista coming up, and then we have the barbecue and the rod run, and I expect them to be just out of this world. I know the Taste of Vista, we have some good things going on with an art walk, and also we're going to have a California fruit wine for the first time, and we're going to have also a beer garden with the event. Also, there's going to be entertainment. My group is going to be entertainment. I have a new group called Cloud Feather, so we're going to entertain. And so anyway, I just want to thank all of you for this past year. I know that our board, our new executive director, I'm just so pleased as to the effort of everybody in our organization working hard to make Vista a destination, not only for the community of Vista, but drawing from other areas to come to our event. And but also to thank each one of you for your support over this year. We wanted to prove ourselves that we are a good organization, not only for our bid members, but for the community at large. So again, I want to thank each and every one of you for that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And it's going to be an exciting summer, so congratulations. Looking forward to it. Oh, Mayor Pro Tem Grunke would like to say something.
Mr. Carrillo, sorry I passed you over before when I was talking to Gamaro. Certainly the board has done an excellent job with the VBBA. I was at the Strawberry Festival, and I think I got there about 9 o'clock, and I was just talking to different members of the chamber and the VBBA, and it sounded like they got there at 4 o'clock. Right. I mean, so kudos to you for all your efforts and everything. Like I said before, I think things have moved in such a great direction that we're really pleased. You know,
one of the things that we really wanted to stress when we move forward is that we wanted to have a good dialogue with not only the city and the council, but also work really well with the chamber. And I think that's happening. I think we're moving forward. We're excited about all these events. I know that we just had a wrap-up meeting on the Strawberry Fest, and we're already thinking about how we can improve on it, make it better. I mean, we had close to 60,000 people, and that was just, we couldn't foresee that. I mean, it was just unbelievable. We did take it from a 2-day event to a 1-day event, which we voted on, and I thought that would be a better fit because you can make everything downtown, everything could be close instead of it all spread out. One of the big surprises was the car show. I know we had it here last year and it didn't do very well, and one of the suggestions that we made was having it over at Sonic. And when I was at the VVBA booth, I had people all day long asking me, where's the car show? And so having it at Sonic really made that particular event so that we'll put on next year and make it even better. So we're tweaking it. We're going to try to make it as good as it was this year.
They had all coordinated cars at Sonic. They had all red. All the old cars were all coordinated in color. I thought it was pretty cool.
Right. Try to make it strawberry-like.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah, that's what we were trying to make that theme like. So, but I just want to let you know that when these events are over with, we always have wrap-up meetings to try to find out, what complaints there were, what problems we got into. I know I talked to Steve about the St. Patrick's Day Parade. We had I noticed that we had bikers. I talked to the city manager. He talked to me about that. And, there were problems having bikers in that parade. So we're looking to eliminate that. And, but we need this feedback so we know what does work and what doesn't. And we'll say, though, at the barbecue, we are going to have like a motorcycle show like we do for the Rod Run. So that'll be a little different this year. And we expect it to be well organized, well thought out, well done, and to enhance the barbecue part.
I only have one comment. When I was there and they started the run at the beginning of the morning, and I noticed that the people that were drinking water, and then they didn't have any place, we couldn't find any trash to put the water bottles in. So I picked up a bunch of them and found a trash, but we need some that are right there at the beginning of the race because they're all drinking water before they run. So
right.
that was
And we were overwhelmed, I think, at the Strawberry Fest by the trash. Was just, and we're trying to come up with a solution to get more of those big, huge dumpsters, and we talked about that with Brett.
Yeah, but it was overall, it was a great day.
Yeah, so we'll keep on, and of course, Nightmare on Main Street's getting thought out right now for the kids and for the adults, and we're thinking about that, and of course, summer music coming back, and
good job.
So we're trying all these different things. So.
Good job. Good job.
Okay.
Love
Thank
it.
you.
You know,
Thank you
Mr.
very
Carrillo.
much. A big thank you again. Thank you
Mr.
so
Carrillo,
much.
that's what they call a good problem, when you have so many people that you can't keep up with them. So
Exactly. That's a pleasant problem.
It's a pleasant problem, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Keep up the good work.
Okay. Okay, now the next thing we have are oral communications, and usually I call on you. I'm going to start today because I usually call on you guys. So I want to say congratulations to our Vista High CIF Division I Baseball Championship 1-0 victory over the rival Rancho Buena Vista. Who would ever think that Vista have the two top, baseball teams? So I think that's amazing. And it said this is the Panthers' first baseball title since 1993, so that was a great thing. Vista's starting pitcher, Brett Seeberger, the only pitcher actually, and the rest of the team did an outstanding job, and I want to say that Justin Shute made the only run, and it's interesting because on Sunday night I did 2 Eagle Scout proclamations, and his was one, and he actually was a quarterback on Vista High's football team, and then he was made the only run he was on the baseball team in addition to getting his Eagle Scout at the same time. We did all those things all at the same time, so it's pretty amazing. They're amazing boys. Both teams, actually. I'd congratulate Rancho also because they were the number 2 team. So anyway, Vista High was also named the State Baseball Team of the Year by Cal High Sports. So congratulations on that, and we're very proud of the players and the coaches and the administrative staff and of both the schools for making it to the championship finals. I mean, both teams from Vista, so I'm very proud of them. So with that, I will move on down to Steve, or Mayor Pro Tem Gronke.
Thank you, Mayor.
More formal.
I just need to talk about yesterday's experience. I had the opportunity to sit down with the city planner, Mr. Conley. I don't call him the Redevelopment Association Director. I know.
Redevelopment Director is fine.
Oh, well, we'll still get away with that? Okay, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Zinner from the Redevelopment Association, too. And we interviewed a number of affordable housing teams that came before our city with proposals for several sites. And the thing that excited me was the number of really good proposals. I mean, quality stuff that was going to come to our city. And we came up with three finalists for 3 different locations, and I won't go through all the details, but I think we should be quite proud of what we're going to see here coming up in the city in the near future. So thank you to those gentlemen for their time. It was a good experience for me. I learned a lot, and I think we're going to get some good stuff. To go along with that, I just want to say that Sandag has money available for those types of projects too, so I think we need to just be cognizant of that and pursue that too.
Councilmember Aguilera.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to congratulate our appointees for the various commissions. Like I said earlier, we had some great interviews and all good people that applied, but I did want to congratulate the appointees and remind everybody that Thursday is June 14th, which is Flag Day, so fly your flag.
That's right. And the American Legion has, I don't know if you noticed, they have about 100 flags outside the American Legion. It's on South Santa Fe, down by kind of toward Mar Vista there, and they have like 100 flags out there, and they're available for $30 each. They're selling them all, but they're going to be there until, they did say Flag Day, but I think they said now the 4th of July. So But if you haven't seen them, it's really a pretty picture down there. So, okay, Councilmember Coles.
Yes, I was pleased to be able to represent the city at the open house celebration at the Los Robles Apartments up here on Oak for a multifamily solar energy project that was just completed. And I was amazed at, they've made 3 carports. They can't call them carports because of the grant, but they're carports that are roofed by solar panels, and those solar panels will generate 95% of all the electrical needs of that whole apartment complex, which is pretty huge. And it was completed with a $555,000 grant from the California Multifamily Affordable Solar Housing Program. The thing that really impressed me was that there were a couple of young people who lived in the complex there who were trained as installers who now have employment. Then they're going to be going around the region helping to install panels. So we have generated some employment opportunities right here through our enabling of this project to go forward in our city. Then last Saturday, in the fall, my wife and I successfully bid on a dinner by our Vista firefighters. And so last Saturday we took 3 other couples to enjoy a dinner at Fire Station Number 1, and they treated us magnanimously. It was a great PR program, not only for our city, but for what our fire department does. The dinner was great. We were hosted by John Blumeyer, Joe Napier, Carrie Napier. Carrie Childress did the cooking, made a great turkey, low-fat lasagna that tasted better than any high-fat lasagna I think I've ever had. And Justin Golden hosted us, and then the others were out on calls, came back, ate, and had to leave. The most exciting part of the evening was while we were being shown demonstrations of some of the capability and technology in the moving equipment, a call came in, and in the blink of an eye, 4 people were mounted and gone, really within less than a minute. It may have been 30 seconds, and I gasped as I saw them rushing out with cables still hooked into the vehicles, and I almost yelled, and then everything popped out. So it's so yeah, to really appreciate the response that we have here, you have to see an action going on. And then finally, just a prelude, and Gary Gerritson's here, and I know can provide more, but the Vista Education Foundation is hosting its first gala fundraiser this Friday here in our Morris Vance room. And if you don't know about it or haven't heard about it, it's being sponsored by many of our leading businesses, including the Chamber and Tri-City Hospital, and it'll be hopefully a great event honoring the teachers at Vista Unified School District. So,
and the retiring superintendent also.
And the retiring superintendent, yes. Okay, so that's all I have.
Councilmember Lopez.
Thank you. This Friday, I guess I'm going to have to speak in competition with the Chambers. This Friday at the Boys and Girls Club, they're having a dinner, and they've already sold over, I think, 100, 150 tickets. It's called a Casa Linda night. I and Paul Eckert will be cooking for you, and it's $10 a person. That includes the food and a drink, and all proceeds will be going to the Boys and Girls Club of Vista. So that's competition with you, I guess, for Friday. Yeah, well, it's probably much cheaper than yours.
It is.
Yeah, so.
And it's not mine.
So that's what's going on there Friday. Now I want to talk about another subject. I've been out in the community for the past 7, 8 months, and doing different things in the community. And all I hear is, well, you are running for office. I have never told anyone that I'm rerunning for office at all. I do the things I do in my community is because that is my job, and that's what a councilman should be doing, volunteering and being out in the community. When there's problems, there's problems. You look and you try and help them as much as you can. But I've given this some thought. A year ago, I had a council that was completely against me and tried to take me down and wanted me out of here. That's their opinion. You know, that's the way, that's politics, I guess. I don't hate them for that, but that's their decision. That's their decision. I'm the type of person who, if I might not like you, but what's right for the community and what's right is right, and you do what's right, regardless of whether you like the person or not. And I've done many things in this community that have shown that vision. And so I've given this a thought. My term's up in November, and I spoke to one employee this week, and she said, "Oh, you're running. I know you're not running." And I go, "No, I haven't decided." But today I decided. I am going to run again. And I'm telling you, be ready, because I will fight hard and I will work hard. So I've said it, and good luck to the rest of them who are running. Would like to see Mr. Gerritsen. I want you to work for the position. So good luck. Thank you.
It wasn't that we didn't like you, Frank.
Pardon?
So you said the council didn't like you. It was not that we didn't like you,
I
Frank.
didn't say you didn't like me.
Yeah, that's what you said.
I know you like me.
Okay, with that, our city manager, Patrick Johnson.
Thank you. I'll make it brief. I just want to thank the council and staff for all the hard work on the budget this year. It's nice to have it behind us, so thank you. And I want to just mention a few things about staff supporting events throughout the community. One was the Strawberry Festival with the setup and takedown assistance. The other was the Memorial Day celebration, which a lot of you were at. And to see that flag on the Civic Center building and the way it was hung was very impressive. The flag was flown over the World Trade Center, and it was a very nice ceremony that the American Legion put on, as well as the America sculpture at Bringle Terrace Park. If you haven't had a chance, please take a look at that. And lastly, just wanted to comment on for Bill Fortmuller and the Arts Commission. They're wrapping up the last 2 days of the art exhibit in the lobby.
Oh,
and so
that's a great exhibit.
Soon they'll be doing another one, but it was very successful. So just wanted to say thanks to Bill and the Arts Commission.
City Attorney Daryl Piper.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention that the Moonlight Foundation had a fabulous gala event, and it's really exciting to see how supportive they are of that facility and their dedication to providing funding to make sure that we can keep it open. And that's all. Thank you.
And the Moonlight Amphitheater is starting its summer season with Legally Blonde, the musical, Legally Blonde, the musicals, and that starts real soon. I think next week. I don't have the exact date. Scottish Highland Games are coming also. 4th of July celebration. It's going to be a fun summer. So check into those things. And with that, we are adjourned. And I'm off. And hello, and happy birthday to John Aguilera today. Yay, he's 45 today.